Come on, Instagram. What are you doing to us? Uh, Um, the split.
My camera says it's on.
Wait, oh, it says it works. Oh, everyone can see. Okay. Oh, but I can't see. In the last time I used it, Instagram Live was maybe, whew, not even this year, like a year ago, and it used to split the screen. Can you see both, everyone? Okay, cool. Okay, thanks everyone. Cool. Let's just get it started. Can you hear me, Sakura?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. Damn, I wish I could have seen the split. That's so I can see you shred. But anyway, I'll look at I'll look at it later. Whatever. I'm Edd Bazaar, everyone, the creator of live guitar solos, and I'm here in Australia. It's 6 a.m. or whatever the time is, but I'm ready and willing to go to interview a great guitarist. Her name is Sacra Victoria, and she's in the US, and she's just doing amazing things at the moment. Hi,
Hi.
Sacra.
Thanks for having
Thanks
me.
for joining. That's okay. Thanks for your time. Really appreciate it. So we're going to ask some questions, and then right at the end, we're going to see her shred and be amazed. Okay. All right. Let's start with the questions. Uh, Sakura, can you tell us how old you were when you started playing guitar, and like what was your motivation to start playing in the first place?
I think I started around 12 or 13, somewhere in there, depending on when you consider starting. But um, what started me playing guitar was actually Guitar Hero. I know it sounds silly, but it was the video game. One of my friends had it, and I had never heard like rock or metal or anything like that before, only like pop or classical music. And when I played the game, I heard like music that I've never heard before, and I thought it was so cool. And I loved the idea of playing guitar. I know obviously Guitar Hero is far from the actual thing, but I loved the idea of it, and I kind of wanted to be like Casey Lynch, that character, the cool, awesome guitarist on stage and leather pants and the whole deal. And that was my idol for probably the first 2 years of playing guitar. I was actually really bad at Guitar Hero, like really bad. So I was like, well, I'm gonna forget this and I'll start actually playing the real thing. So I got lessons, and my mom bought me my first guitar. It was like a Squire Strat thing, and I knew so little about music that I thought that tuning a guitar meant the tuning pegs to be parallel. So I sounded awful for quite a long time until I got my first lesson. So that's how I kind of started guitar. Yeah.
Cool. Oh, what? You said Guitar Hero. You know, there's so many memes out there about Guitar Hero players that aspire to be great guitarists. But I have seen many examples of people being inspired but to actually play guitar for real because of the game, which is great.
Yeah.
Oh, and I wish they made more of it. It's not around anymore, really. It's just it's something of the past, But that's excellent. So okay, I'm curious. What were you listening to before guitar? Pop
Before
music?
guitar, yeah, it was mostly like Michael Jackson, and
Yes.
I think I might have heard like Bon Jovi or Van Halen a few times. Hanging
Nice,
with
nice.
friends.
Yes.
Their dad was very, very into rock, so I heard like things like the Scorpions, maybe occasionally. I wasn't really into it. Like I got into it, but I did like air guitar, the solos, and think that was cool.
So
So
did
I
you?
really
Oh,
go
sorry.
ahead. Sorry.
Keep going. Oh, no, no, no. I was just saying. Uh. So did you explore your own music, or find your own influences, or were you influenced by your parents' music, or like, or how did you get into what you're doing now? Like, because you're predominantly metal, aren't you?
Yeah. Um, my whole family is not musical at all. So me playing the guitar was very strange. It's like, you want to do what? What does that mean? It was very odd. So I really found it completely on my own. There was no family connection at all. My mother supports it 100%. She herself would never be a musician, but yeah. So it's interesting. Most people usually have some sort of musical family member, but I had zero. So
Oh
that's
wow.
interesting. And then after I kind of had the Guitar Hero phase, I really started to get into the Beatles, which kind of came from like the Beatles Rock Band, you know, that game too.
Mm.
And then I started listening to them a lot. And that's probably really where I started to want to really practice guitar, because I really admired like George Harrison, you know. That's far from
Mm.
where I am today, but it was a start. You know, before I actually got my first guitar, I actually made a fake guitar for myself, because I felt really weird asking my mom for a guitar, because I knew she would have been like, "Wait, what? What do you want a guitar for?" So I took a ruler and I wrapped it in paper and I drew 6 lines and frets, and I practiced Beatles solos on this fake neck. You know, no picking, obviously. So, and then I gave in and I asked for my guitar, and I got my guitar and I started playing Beatles solos. I don't remember any anymore, but but that was interesting. That was my first taste to actually playing like lead, and having like a guitarist that I admired. And then I got into Jimmy Page, you know, like Led Zeppelin and that whole thing. And that was when I was about, I was say 14 or 15, something like that. And that was really a whole other thing, because my mom's actually favorite song was Stairway to Heaven. And I didn't really know that was Led Zeppelin. She just always said her favorite song was Stairway to Heaven. And then I started listening to her. I was like, "Mom, this is your favorite song?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, this is my new favorite band." And so, of course, I had to learn the guitar, you know, the Stairway to Heaven guitar solo for her, and that was cool. And I loved Led Zeppelin for like the longest time. And then, you know, natural progression, you learn about Jimmy Page, then you learn about Steve Vai. And then so I started to get into really heavy practice, like his book on the 10-hour practice routine or whatever it was, you know. I started to read that, and I was like, well, I gotta get on my game. I gotta get better, you know. So I started doing that, you know, really intense practicing. And then after I got into him, then I found Yngwie. So that was a whole nother thing. When I heard Yngwie, I thought my world had crashed, and I had no idea what was even going on with guitar. So of course I bought all of his tab books. I learned as much music of his as I could, and that was really cool. And then let's see, after that, I just kind of, you know, started doing the Instagram thing and finding all these other shredders that, you know, I could name 20,000 that are amazing now. So, but before that, those were my main influences.
Yeah, it's great to see the progression. Like you were saying with George Harrison, I mean, so underrated, wasn't he? Like, and it just goes to show with his solo stuff, like he had so many hits on his own, like. But it's funny how predominantly it was Lennon McCartney, wasn't it, for the Beatles writing most of their songs.
Yeah,
So it's like
yeah,
he was waiting in the wings for his chance.
yeah. He had a lot of amazing music. I listened to all of his solo stuff as well. Apart from the Beatles, I was very much a George Harrison fan for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you do a version of While My Guitar Gently Weeps? Have you ever
I think I do have
done
a
it?
live version of me shredding that solo pretty interestingly.
Oh, cool. That would be awesome to watch. Awesome to see. Yeah. Uh, and then your progression. Like, I got to see Yngwie. He came to Australia, uh, last month, and oh, man, oh, it was just every song was just amazing, and it was loud. It was the loudest concert I've ever seen. I've been to. My ears were literally like ringing so much, like compared to compared to Vi and everyone else I've seen. But and he did he did this one thing. He was playing around with his pedal, and it was just going. It was like a siren, and and everyone was like, people were like, oh, blocking it. But I thought this is a rock star. He just does what he wants to do. Like he's just causing a ruckus. But other than that, his soloing was just phenomenal, and it was really like a dream come true to see him. Him and Vi, like a dream come true for me to see him play. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I saw him for I think it was my 20th birthday or maybe 19th, I can't remember. But I saw him live in Virginia, and that was really cool. I actually got to meet him, so I don't
So
remember it.
lucky.
It's
Yeah.
basically a blur. It was my mouth was open the whole time. Like I don't even remember anything. I was so like in awe.
Yeah. Of course, of his skill. Yeah. And then when he breaks out into Deep Purple, does Smoke on the Water, but it's like a version I've never heard of before, like the way he does it, like and shredding all over it, and it was just so good. Yeah. Okay. Cool. And it's interesting to see because your style is very, you got a very neoclassical sort of style. Would I be right, correct in saying that?
Yeah, I would say
Similar to
so.
Ingve? Mm.
Yeah, for sure.
That really spoke to you. Like I'm guessing, obviously, to pursue that yourself, right?
Yeah, I love I've always kind of loved classical
Mm.
music. It's always kind of been
Mm.
there even before I got into metal. So that just kind of brought what I loved before I loved metal to
Mm.
the two things I love, that and metal. So combine the
Yeah.
two, and then the third, of course.
Mm. Yeah. So you were, how long did you take lessons for example? Because like to see how well you play now, like is it just like did you sort of branch off from that and just do your own thing, like teach yourself a lot of things, or did you continue while you were excelling and learning with the lessons?
With learning guitar, I think I had my first lesson when I was actually 14. So I messed around on my own for maybe a year or so. Um, and I played a little bit of guitar in school. Like we had a class that was, extracurricular that you could take, and it was guitar related. Um, as far as lessons go, I took lessons for maybe from my local, guitar shop, for about maybe a year or two, and then I just started doing everything on my own and learning on my own, like buying tons of books and shred books and whatever, and the internet and YouTube, and just
Mm.
finding my own way. And then I kind of felt like, well, maybe it was time to like go to an actual like college, like a music college or whatever. And I started looking into Berklee, and then I took Berklee online for about 2 years, and all the teachers recommended that I actually go to the campus. So I auditioned for the campus, and I got a full scholarship from Berklee. So that was really cool. Sadly, I didn't get to actually go to the campus because of COVID and the 2020 whole craze thing. I was only able to do all online classes, so that was disappointing. But the experience was still really cool. I met a lot of awesome teachers and a lot of cool students, and learned a lot of cool things. So
Well, I didn't know you went to Berkeley. Maybe it was lack of research, but wow. Okay, that is the elite. Attend that place, man. Like, you should, I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's just that's great. Like, and there's a great opportunity to learn from the experience from other teachers. Do you think actually attending the campus would have been obviously it would have been a greater experience, right? To meet these people face to face, maybe a few more connections and all that. Unfortunately, COVID, but because I've seen a lot of like there's a lot of guitarists out there that are actually attending, you know, currently and things, and then you see that like it's just it's like a hub of of great musical minds, you know, all together, associating and throwing ideas and stuff. And yeah, I mean, yeah, that would have been nice to actually to go there. But unfortunately, COVID. But yeah, I guess.
yeah, it was a really cool experience doing the online though. I mean, I
Mm.
still I met Joe Stump in person, so
Oh.
he's the metal instructor there. So I did get to meet him. That was pretty cool. But
Mm.
other than that, I think Berklee's really great. I kind of went in there with a lot of knowledge already, so it wasn't mostly about the schooling part of it. That was really cool because I definitely learned a bunch of things I didn't know. But the community was really great, even though it was far distance. Um, I think Berklee is great for people. I think starting with Berklee Online, if I could recommend a strategy, is start with Berklee Online and then do all of the boring stuff. And then if you go to campus, then really make that about not having to work hard, on your actual classes, get all of that boring stuff out of the way, and then just have fun, really get to experience that, because I didn't. And I think that would have been really cool.
Mm.
So that would be my
Mm.
advice.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, because that's the thing, isn't it? Like, I mean, you gotta go through the hard yards of learning the. If you want to be proficient of anything, there's got to be the boring side. But I think the goal at the end of the tunnel is the experience you get to collaborate with others, to make music, amazing music. That's where you get your joy, and like performing live and things like that. Yeah, I mean, Yeah. Well, what sort of motivation would you give to people that are learning now?
I would say, well, it depends on where you are, but if you're a true beginner, then obviously just, you can take lessons from me.
Oh,
I
true.
like to teach.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
anyone who's willing to teach you is a great place to start. I mean, that might lead to so many different things, but if you're really interested in like theory and like technique and more style specific things, then I would say Berkeley Online is a great place to start. It really shaped me a lot, I would say. It really helped me grow so I could get that full scholarship, because I learned so much before I even auditioned that it really made a huge difference, I think.
Mm, mm,
And
mm,
having those
mm.
connections with the school, already
Yeah. Yeah.
helped. And once I actually got got to Berkeley, which was online, but once I actually was in the actual Berkeley, I felt really confident, and I didn't feel stressed. And there was no, I know a lot of times people go to college, it's very stressful. It wasn't stressful because I had all of this knowledge I'd accumulated over 2 years of doing that. So it was, I was still learning, and it was great, but it was a nice experience.
Mm, that's great. So you used to practice a lot. So this 10-hour regime that you're talking about that Steve Vai had, did you do the 10 hours a day practice?
Yeah, I would say, as far as practicing goes, the way I built up was, when I was like 13 or 14 or whenever I started, I would practice like an hour or two a day. And I thought that was a lot, that was like, whoa, I'm practicing so much. But, I'd practice things that my teacher gave me or things I'd find, Led Zeppelin solos, Beatles solos, whatever it was. Guns N' Roses, I don't remember, Van Halen, just different things. And I was big into technique, so I could shred fast, for my age and my skill at the time. It was fast. I could shred way before I could actually play guitar. Like I could play these really cool fast licks, but like that's the only thing I knew how to
Yeah.
do. Like the one trick pony. Um, so I did that for quite a while, and as I got like older, I started wanting to get better because I realized that maybe I wasn't the cleanest, or maybe I could learn more about scales, and so all these things started to develop, and then that added to the practice routine. Like I would make like my own little workbook, kind of like, oh, practice my 3 upper string scales and practice my pentatonics, and I'm gonna do this, and one thing led to another, and I would always find books. Like this one book that I would basically attribute all of my technique from is called Shred Guitar by German Strauss, and I'm not, sponsored by him or anything like that. Like that's just my true,
Mhm, mhm. Okay.
my
Yeah.
true opinion. Like that book really shaped my playing so much. There's so many great things in that book, and it's just basically boring permutations. But that book has singularly allowed me to play anything I want, pretty much. You know, as far as picking goes, that doesn't count for sweep picking or tapping or anything. But that book really shaped me a lot. And when I found that book, I would practice that book for 10 hours a day, I think. Not the whole book, I'd have to take it chapter by chapter, like
Mm, mm,
chapter on the
mm,
pentatonics, I'd work on that all day, and then the next chapter I'd work on the major scale stuff, and then the single string stuff or whatever. And then I would practice that for 10 hours a day, like really hardcore for like 2 years. I would say that is what shaped me, doing that 10 hours a day for 2 years. And I've heard a lot of other guitarists say that about their technique, that there was this point in their life where there was 2 years where they really just did nothing but play guitar, eat, sleep, play guitar.
mm, mm, mm.
So
And
that's,
that's all and obviously that's all in like embedded in your brain, like the connection between your brain and your fingers, and like that's just there now. It's like muscle memory for you, because you put in the hard time, like you studied the hell out of the guitar for those couple of years, that 10
yeah.
hours a day. That's inspiring to see, because I think that's like people like to see your passion, because it comes from obviously your passion to want to learn. You were inspired by the artists before you, and you wanted to find your own way, your own voice. Yeah, would you say that's sort of how you approached it?
Yeah, that's one thing about, I would say, with schools or music schools like Berkeley, they're very much they have this idea of like looking up to players, and I think that's really great. But I remember one of the teachers actually saying that, asking everyone who their favorite guitarist is, and of course everyone says, Steve Vai, Joe Satriani, Yngwie, you know, like all these, you know, famous people. And she's like, well, you know, you can be your favorite guitarist too. You know, that's allowed. You could have said you know, and I thought that was an interesting thing because a lot of times when people go to music school or they take classes, or even people who don't, they get stuck in trying to be like a player, you know? And I had that problem for a long time. Like, I wanted to be like Yngwie. Like, I bought the Strat and I got the scallops and I cut my hair like his short 80s style with, you know, the whole deal, and, you know, the boots, the everything, you know, the Marshall, and it had to be Yngwie. And it really inspired me to, you know, get better in all of these things. But it really just, you know, I think it's important for players to remember that that's a stepping stone, and don't stay on that stone for too long, you know? Like, understand that it's not you, it's him, and you should try and mold yourself, you know? That's why, like, I play Jackson Bees now, you know, and I'm a little different, maybe very similar, still neoclassical, but I would say I have a little bit of a twist, or, you know, my own ideas that I've accumulated, my own licks, maybe a little more progressive in the sense of like progressive metal, you know, than Yngwie. So I think I've developed my own style, but that's one thing about players is try not to be like your idol, because they're themselves, and try to be you, you know.
Yeah, like I would have to say, I hear that neoclassical influence that you have, and that comes from your love of classical music, and like that you pursued that. But I don't hear Yngwie in your playing as much as, you know, like you're not a carbon copy, you know,
Yeah.
version of him. Like, I wouldn't have attributed that. So, which shows to me, and from what you're saying, is that it's really important to try and find your own voice, and not try and just, because it could become gimmicky. Would you say?
Yeah, and I think finding your own voice is like a, you know, it's like a lifetime journey. It's not like, oh, tomorrow I'm gonna find my own voice. You know, like you could sound like someone for years and then slowly evolve out of that. You know, and then next thing you know, like someone like Gary Moore, you know, he was a huge neoclassical player for the longest time. It's 70s or 80s or something. Influenced Yngwie, I think, even. And then now he's like a blues, or was, I think he died, but he had a melodic style for a long time. He had like a blues style, I think, at the end of his career. Well, always really, he had that blues edge, but someone like that, you know, you can always just evolve as a player. You might start as like the supersonic shredder and then end as a blues guy, you know, or you might start as a blues guy and then become Andy Timmons, you know, or something. You know, you never know where it takes you. So that's a lifetime journey.
Yeah, it is. It is, and you'll learn things along the way as well. Like, you'll sort of hear something, is like, oh, what is that? And then maybe you'll, you know, add it to your repertoire or something like that. But also, because once I did a post of who on live guitar solos, who is your favorite who's your top 5 guitarists, and then I put mine on there. So my favorite guitarists are Angus Young, Steve Morse, Steve Lukather, Slash, and oh god, who's the other guy? John Sykes and John Sykes. Okay, that's my 5. They influenced me because I was trying to find, like, what did I appreciate from their solo style, what spoke to me, and I'll actually incorporate the parts of their, or even like certain licks that they made, and make it my own. And I believe I feel comfortable in a way of soloing, like when, like, improv or whatever. That feels comfortable to me, and I feel like I'm able to give out a certain emotion, and play what I'm feeling. And it's also like sort of like you're speaking through your guitar. But people were saying, oh, it should be okay, you know, like Doug Aldrich goes, oh, come on, man, like Eddie Van Halen should be on there, man. It's like, yeah, but that's my influences. I appreciate Eddie Van Halen. I grew up sort of listening, like, my dad had his vinyls, so I'd listen to their stuff, you know, but what spoke to me wasn't exactly that, you know, because you see the carbon copy, you know, imitators, and that didn't speak to me as much, you know.
Yeah, I think with finding your own voice, the more the more influences you add to the pot, the more likely you are to be original. I think that there's a strong correlation there. Like if you've only ever played blues, there's really no way for you to ever, I mean, I wouldn't say never, obviously, but you're not going to really have those other influences because you haven't, ventured out of the blues. People who listen to the blues, they listen to neoclassical, they listen to death metal, black metal, hardcore, metalcore, jazz, fusion. Like they're going to have an extremely original sound, more so than someone who's only ever listened to blues or classic rock their whole life, because they just don't have that vocabulary. It's the same thing with guitar. The more words you know, the bigger your vocabulary. The less words you know, the smaller. So the more likely you're going to sound like someone else.
And the more you're able to communicate to someone, and have that voice to speak to them, like through your melodies or through your style of playing. Like I think that's very important. Yeah, it is. Did they teach you that in Berkeley at all? That
No,
sort of
no. I would
mentality?
say, if anything, they, at least from my experience, they wanted you to play like someone. That style is what our goal is, and that's the only thing about places like that. That you just have to make sure that you're always trying to find your own way to, learn from those places, obviously. But just keep adding different ingredients to the pot, and then one day you'll wake up and be like, "This is my sound. This is me."
Yeah, that's great. That's really great. Thank you for your insight in all of that as well. Okay, so let's just talk about okay, I don't mean to put you on the spot. Who are your Give us a rough idea of like your top 5.
Let's see. Well, I would say James Moody is my number one. My second would be Yngwie,
Wow.
of course, because he's always my solid go-to favorite shredder. I love Jeff Loomis. I love Jason Becker. I'm sure I'm missing so many people. Alexi Laiho.
Right.
Those are probably. I don't know if that was 5, but
Yeah,
those
yeah, it
are my
was. Yeah, yeah.
top at the moment.
That's
That it
great.
always changes depending on if I discover new people, or I'm kind of vibing with something for a year or months or whatever. So yeah.
Cool. What is your favorite guitar solo? I know there's so many out there, but tell me one that really you know um made a difference to you, that you love so much that you'll always go back to and say, that's the one.
I can't think of like a specific solo actually, but I would say that the one thing I always go back to is Paganini's Fifth Caprice, and I know that's probably not technically a solo, but I've been noodling with that song for so many years, ever since I even, like, probably around 16 even. I couldn't play it. It was always my nemesis piece that I couldn't play it, and I wanted to play it, and always learned it, always came back to it. Like, it was just always this reoccurring like theme. Can you play this yet? No. Can't you play this yet? And I would practice it, and it was always there. It was like my little black dog. It was always behind me, teasing me, going, "You're still not good enough to play this." So, and that is the solo, I guess, that really pushed me, constantly, because it wasn't until I could do this that I felt like satisfied. I can play it now, and I still don't feel satisfied, but you know what I mean. It was the teaser for me, is that song, and you can trace that back to Steve Vai's Crossroads in that whole movie. That part, that's that little piece of this much bigger picture, and that's how I discovered that song. But that song, or Caprice, probably technically, has always been the reoccurring solo in my mind that's always taunted me.
That's great. And just to see, I gotta just say, the determination you've had through your guitar playing is just to see something. I gotta reach that height. And just to see your passion for it, to actually achieve it. Because I saw the video of you playing that song in Guitar Center, and man, that's just. And you got guys in the background going beep 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 beep, and you're just like, I thought that was funny, but like you've achieved it. You got it. Like, I mean, I was just blown away by that.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
So great.
Thank
That's
you.
cool. Cool. All right. So, and you mentioned James Moody as one of your faves. Now, he's your band member in Sacred Symphony.
Yes.
Your band
Yeah.
with him.
Yeah. Well, yeah, our band, but yeah.
Yes. Your band together. Yes. And he's phenomenal. He's phenomenal. I have to say. Um, how did that start for you two? Your band, and you've got music coming out. Tell us a bit about your band, Sacred Symphony.
Yeah, Sacred Symphony is a project that James and I have together. We originally met through a collab that he wanted to do. He invited me to be on it. It was with for the guitarist, but yeah, he basically was like, "Well, you're amazing." And when I first met him, I was like, I think it was like 20 or 21 or 22, I can't remember. I was in doing the Berkeley stuff, and I actually was very insecure about my playing. Even though I felt confident in like the knowledge I knew and things like that, I was very insecure. Like I really didn't think I was good at all. And I still don't really, but I was very insecure so much I wouldn't even post videos of myself, like playing. I was very shy. And then like he started telling me how awesome he thought my playing was, and we would get on Skype calls and we would shred together, and with the other guitarists and trade licks. And he was like, "You're so amazing. You should be in this collab with us." And I was like, "Oh my god, what do you mean? I'm not good enough." And he was like, "What do you mean? Of course you are. Like, you're ridiculous. What are you talking about? You're as fast as me. You're as good as me. You're better than me. Like, what are you talking about?" I was so confused. So, I was like, "Sure, I'll be, in it." And we did the collab, and then we started exchanging licks and realizing that so many of our ideas and we had similar influences. Everything was like meshing, and we wrote, some songs and jotted down some ideas together. And then we also, he was like when I first met him, he was my guitar crush, and even guys have guitar crushes. You have that guitar crush guy that you look up to and you want to be like, or you want to look like. He's your guitar crush. Every guy can admit they have a guitar crush. Mine just happened to be the opposite gender. So it worked out two ways for me. But so my guitar crush became my actual crush, and then we started Skyping and we met in person. And then we moved to Nashville to kind of do the whole, music thing. And once we moved here, we really started to really establish what we wanted to do musically, and band-wise. And then that's where we came up with Sacred Symphony and kind of molding what kind of sound we wanted. He has a lot of influences that I don't have, like, black metal and death metal and interesting things like that. And he's played a lot more riffs that I have, and he has a very, really cool riffing style and writing style. So that was really new to me. The only thing I really feel like I bring to the table, like musically, that he doesn't is like these weird intervallic things, that's my contribution. That is kind of my signature in our music, maybe. And then so obviously some like maybe intervallic, like riffy type lick things. And then maybe some orchestration stuff, so we both work on that side of the thing, like orchestration and symphonics and Sacred Symphony. So that's how that kind of came about. And right now we're really starting to amp up like the momentum, because we just released, I think, 3 songs, and now we're coming out with our 4th that will be released, I think, on July 17th. So that song is very Children of Bodom-esque. It's like a salute to Alexi for that. It's very cool. They're all kind of different in their own way, but they all have this thread of style that's very, I would say, very neoclassical black metal-ish, with, a twist of power metal. It's not quite power metal, but it definitely has the power metal vibes. So yeah, it was a mouthful.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just amazing collaboration. Like you two just work so well together, and it just seems seamless. And just coming out with this music, and it's just yeah. Look, guys, everyone listening, you gotta check this out. So it's just the two of you, is it? Yeah, just the two of you in the band at the moment, is it?
Yeah.
How you getting? Who's programming the drums? Because that's just
Yeah,
I'm just curious.
they weren't actually. We originally made our demos with program drums, but we actually got a Christoph Klingbein.
Oh,
I don't know. I think I'm saying
oh,
his name right, but he played, I think, with Belfagor. So he's a hardcore drummer. We got him to play all the drums on all the songs, so they're real drums.
yeah.
And then we had Eltrod Studios mix and master everything. So everything is real. As far, obviously the playing's all real, the drums are real, and then the orchestration, we MIDI programmed that using a jam stick. So that was interesting. But yeah, everything on there is real, especially the drums. They're really awesome. At the moment, it's just us two as members because it's honestly it's very hard to find people that can play that sort of stuff. Like it's some certain songs we have, the drumming is just insane. It's just insane. So once we find the members, obviously we'll start a whole band and have live performers. But at the moment, we're just rolling with backing tracks. But I know many people out there are probably gonna say, "Oh, that's silly. Why are you doing backing tracks? You need a full band." I totally agree. We do, but it's really hard to find people that you gel or jive with, and everything just kind of flows. So we're waiting to find those people. But with our live show, it might be all backing tracks, but it is still a show.
Yeah.
We're gonna have we've kind of developed our singles. Even though it's technically an album and we've just released singles, it's still an album. So we consider it a group of work. That album is kind of a concept. So we created this story around like these two apprentices, opening their mind and awakening, or whatever you want to call it, like gaining skill, knowledge. It's very much inspired by like fantasy books, that sort of thing. So when we're playing live to backing tracks, we're going to have like this overlord of this, mysterious voice talking us through our steps to becoming whatever. I don't know what it is, but it's something better than we were before. So it's a real show, and that's what we're trying to create, is this artistic like show. It's not just us getting up there playing to backing tracks, or you've heard our music, so it's not typical instrumental music. It's got its themes and story, and everything's flowing.
And so your actual show, so it's just going to be the two of you, like, currently, until you find those members that's going to complete your band, or give you that full band. But your show's going to have like the theme, the theatrics as well, to complement your playing with a narrator, and just to give it a whole backstory to it. And that sounds great. That's the whole concept you've got going there.
Yes, especially
it's not
because
the two guys up there. No, it's just like there's a story behind it.
Yeah, especially because it's instrumental. A lot of times that can get boring. It can. I don't think our music's boring at all. I love our music, but to some people, it's like, where's the singer? And at least for now, we might develop into vocals and have a singer and do that whole thing. But at the moment, to make up for that, we're really trying to make it a show, and with theatrics, and it still has a story, and there's still vocals. It's just not over the music. There's still that third person interaction, with their voice and telling a story. It's not the same way as most people do, but it's
sounds poetic in a way. Like, this is like poetry, and then you got the music to complement those words, that narrative, that spoken narrative, and I think that's really unique. No, that's just me. Like, I'm just saying, but. Like me personally, and as you know, for guitarists, I love to, like, I watched, like, seeing Ingve, like, he had a bit of singing. He was singing sometimes as well, but it wasn't the most of the show was based around his playing, and that's what I went there to see. I didn't care if people think, oh, he's the same. Or I saw one comment, some guy said he walked out of the concert because he's like, oh, he's playing the same thing. I think he's a master of his craft. Like, just show some appreciation, and the influence he's had on so many people. That's where my passion's coming from. I can watch it all day long, and I think the thing is, I think, like, if you like, I'm nobody compared to, like, I'm just saying, like, as a guitarist, like from looking from the outside in, it's like, if you like that, there's a niche for that. There's people out there that are looking for that sort of music, you know, and just like instrumentals. Like, I personally don't believe that you really need a singer to complete a band, because most of the time, most bands I hear with a singer, I'm waiting for the guitar solo. I just want to hear the guitars. I want to hear the riffs. I want to hear the guitar because I'm coming from a guitarist perspective. Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's the thing. So, I love what you're doing, what you and James have got going. Yeah, it's really good, and he's phenomenal. Like, it's just he's such a great guitarist as well. And so what's the writing process for you guys, for you two? Like, do you sort of just, oh, I've got an idea and you build upon that, and or do you actually collaborate together to make music?
It depends on the song, you know. Sometimes, you know, one of us will be like, "Oh, this is a cool riff," you know. What do you think about this? And sometimes the riff will be for something else, or it'll be for Sacred Symphony. We kind of have to decide, you know, is that really Sacred Symphony's vibe? Yes or no? If yes, then you know, maybe like we'll come up with like the next part, you know. Or if he comes up with a riff, then it's like, well, what do you think should come next? And then I come up with the next part. Or sometimes he'll write like a whole, you know, bass thing, and then I have a cool like lead idea or something like that. Sometimes it's he writes the lead, I'll write the riff, or, you know, it could be a multitude of things, but it's usually just like a random spark of sitting down, and he'll come up with a riff, and then he says, where does it go from here?
Yeah,
you know, or vice versa.
it's true collaborative effort, like, and that's really special when you find like people or a group of people where you can really gel with musically and make great tunes that speaks to you, and you know, and yeah, and you can't compare it. Hey, like, it's just that, like, that to jam with someone in that way where you can you almost complete each other's ideas, or you complement each other so well. It's very special. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can see that with the way you two write your music as well.
Thank you.
So very exciting, people. So check out Sacred Symphony from Sacred Victoria, and James Moody, excellent guitarist. Follow him on Spotify.
Yes.
Are they on all major platforms?
Yeah. Yep, we're everywhere.
Yep. Okay, cool. Nice. All right. What else have I got? Okay, I've got a couple of silly ones. What's your favorite food?
Favorite food? Chipotle.
Oh,
Chipotle. Yeah.
okay. We don't have that in Australia, but I have had it.
Yeah.
That's very nice. It's very popular in the US.
It's a weird thing. I don't know why. It's just like a singular food attraction. I don't know what it is, but Chipotle, I think is how you pronounce it. This is my favorite. I could eat it every day, all day.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I wish we had it here. I wish. We've only, because in Australia, we like maybe the past 15 years or so, we've started to have Mexican food, and we've got a few chains of that now. Like, since then, but you guys, it's been always a thing over there, isn't it? Yeah. So, but yeah, Chipotle. Yes, very nice. Okay, what's your favorite drink? Last silly one.
Whiskey.
Okay, nice. I love whiskey as well. All right, cool. Thank you so much, Sakura, for joining me today for the awesome chat, learning about your experience, your motivational attitude towards playing guitar. It's really inspiration, so thank you. You got your guitar there. Can you play a little something, like a shred?
Yeah, just quick whatever.
Yeah.
Can you hear that okay?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, that is awesome. Thank you so much for that. What a gift. Thank you so much for joining me. Look, that's all I've got for you today, Seiko. We'll definitely keep in touch. Yeah, again, people, that's what you got to see with Sacred Symphony. Sacred Victoria's band with James Moody. They got an awesome band, making some great tracks, neoclassical style, bit of all sorts of metal. Um, Thank you so much for your talents and your time. I really appreciate it,
Yeah,
Seiko. Thank you.
thank you. Thank you.
All right, everyone. See you later. Thank you, Seiko.
Yes,
Talk to you soon.
thank you. Bye.
Okay, bye.